everybody thinks that now is the time for the mobility to change, and of course for the green transition to happen. But the important matter is this: you don't just go to a supermarket, you buy electric buses or whatever, and you put them out and they run and everything's fine. There are some challenges in order to achieve this goal, and the effort behind it is even greater. The Ministry of Transport, the minister is here, together with us, the public road transport company. We are doing a very enormous effort to prepare this situation to happen. In a very short period of time, the ministry managed to almost complete the first tender for the first phase of the electric buses and the new CNG buses that will be running in Athens pretty soon during 2023. But in order for that to happen, there is an enormous effort behind the scenes. And this will change the face of public transport in Athens. Together with the new buses, what we are doing behind the scenes, and I will explain now, is very important and will change everything. Because we have 7 to 10 depots where the buses go to during the night and prepare for the next morning. And these depots have to be prepared in order to receive the new electric buses or the new CNG buses. And the big effort the ministry and ourselves are doing to prepare that has to do with a series of parameters that are complex. The equation is very complex because you need to prepare, first of all, infrastructure projects, smaller, medium, and larger infrastructure projects in order to have the new buses depoted in such a way that they will be running smoothly, because electrical buses have to do with a totally different technology than diesel buses or other kinds of buses. And of course, the tender that the ministry has started in the first phase is being completed, and the second is coming very soon, will renew the whole fleet. So we're not talking about an addition of a few buses around the ones that we are running at the moment, but we're talking about a full change of the fleet in Athens. Athens pretty soon will be the greenest city in Europe. And therefore, the effort that we're doing behind the scenes is huge. The parameters are many, it's very complex. We have to create a small and medium infrastructure projects, as I said, in order to prepare our depots. Then we have to coordinate with the electricity company in order to prepare the depots for the electric buses and the amount of power that they will need in order to be ready for every night for the next day. And even behind that, we have to reschedule the whole schedule of our routes, which means that we will change our routes. We will use buses that are okay for the specific routes because of the range limits of their batteries that they will have. And that means that we will have to change our personnel in order to meet those conditions, train them in such a way that they will be ready to meet the conditions of running such buses.
I have a neighbor who is a great petrol head, as they would say in England. She's very, very keen on the internal combustion engine. She mocks electric vehicles, which I think is stupid, but there we are. But her argument is that actually, why not hydrogen? It seems to me that that's actually quite a good question for heavy vehicles like buses.
This is the near future and the future of public transport, hydrogen. Yes, of course, not only public transportation is going to hydrogen, but as you know, the maritime industry and the commercial industry in heavy transport is going to hydrogen. We are on our next phase going to that, and we are already preparing for that as well. For example, we are participating in 2 European programs about creating the environment on which hydrogen buses will run, because there are things to consider there. For example, how to prepare the whole manufacturing of the hydrogen in order to have the buses running. And this is happening now, and we will be ready in the second phase of our tender for the new buses to see the opportunities of hydrogen buses. Actually, now that you mention it, in the first 2 months of 2023, we'll see the first hydrogen bus tested by the ministry and ourselves in the streets of Athens for a month, doing a specific route that the other buses will be doing. So, yes, we are there and we are looking at it and we are preparing for that, because this is the future of the public transport. But before that, we have the electric buses, and we have to prepare our personnel to not only to work with them, but to understand the philosophy of the transition that we're doing in the company. And together with that, we are doing a huge project with the help of the ministry again for digital transformation, because green transition and digital transformation go together. This is Mobility 4.0.
Yeah. I mean, the minister is going to be in the next panel.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the last minister who was here, one of the people, one of the panelists said, well, he's the right guy in the right job. So I won't tempt you into saying that the minister in transport is the right guy in the right job. What I want to ask is,
it has been proven up to now.
Fine. So what I want to ask is, if you were the minister, what would you do?
Well, I wouldn't change anything, because we are doing a very great job.
You wouldn't, for example, say, oh, we need to have a congestion charge for traffic in Athens. Because if you were the mayor of London, for example,
yes,
you'd say, yes, we need the congestion zone. It's been very successful. We need to enlarge it.
Well, I lived in London for many years during my studies there, so I've seen what's going on, and Athens isn't that different.
Yeah.
In many terms, but you understand this is a difficult equation to solve with congestion and everything. I think we just started doing a project about cameras on the bus lanes, and that will help a lot, because this is a difficult situation as well. But don't forget that the period we just finished, the COVID period, has changed a lot the minds of people and the way they move around.
Yeah.
And now we are seeing this change happening in the people using the public transport.
When you say that it changed the habits, I mean, were people staying at home, or were they coming out? Were they reluctant to use public transport?
Well, at first they were reluctant to use the public transport. Now the situation is getting better and better, and together with the crisis, the energy crisis, people now are moving into public transport even more and more, and moving their cars back, and therefore we have to meet their expectations. And I think we increased our capacity in routes for more than 50%, and our fleet from 850 buses to 1,400 buses during the last 3 years, and that helps a lot during this transition with very, very difficult situations such as COVID and the energy crisis.